I decided to do an MBA because I felt in the American university system, everyone's so focused on siloing you into one specific thing. And I got great experience working in one industry and one kind of role. And I really wanted to be able to take my expertise and broaden it as well as specialize it towards something else. So I was more into changing slightly my career and changing slightly my industry. And I chose HEC Paris because in the end of the day, I wanted to go abroad for my education. And when I was looking at all the schools in Europe, this one really caught my eye because it was one of the most internationally diverse schools that I saw out there, and something that I actually saw when I got there. And in addition, there was a great faculty in a bunch of different departments. The one that I was looking for mostly was marketing. So I was very interested by the faculty that they had there. And then additionally, I was looking for support of a larger university system. I didn't want to go specifically to a school that only had an MBA program. I wanted to go to a school that had different faculties, like an undergraduate school or a PhD program, so that to make sure that there were people doing lots of research and lots of other things going on in the campus to get different perspectives. Now, from the international perspective, I want to add that it was very important to me from all of the years that I've lived abroad before doing the MBA. I learned so much about myself and about others and how to communicate with others and how the world works just from being around other people from other cultures. And to do an MBA in such an international environment, I knew that that was the only way that I was going to be able to break out to the next level and really get to where I wanted to be professionally. And one of the major things that really brought it out was the fact that it was required to study a foreign language at HEC. And having known a little bit of French from high school, which was not very much, I was hoping that this would help launch my career. So all of those reasons together, I chose HEC. I've lived abroad before, and for extended periods of time working in Asia or learning in Western Europe as well. But doing an MBA as an American, there are always going to be a lot of Americans around, and you're going to be faced with a perspective of you as your country. And I think Americans who do MBAs abroad aren't necessarily always aware of the fact that people are going to view you as your country. You know, we have to think about it from the perspective of how would you view someone who's coming to study in your country who is from a foreign country. And there are definitely some administrative things that you have to understand are different. It's not necessarily better or worse. And things that you take for granted in your own country might not be the same in a different country. And it has nothing to do necessarily with France. It could be in the UK, it could be in Spain, it could be in Singapore, it could be in India. A lot of the things that go into the visa application process and the way that the access that you have to administration or in terms of the government or in terms of the school in of itself, you have to be patient. And if you are patient, you won't be stressed and you'll be able to be in the right learning environment that you're looking for. But overall, you have to just remember that you keep an open mind, because you will learn more than you ever think you could know by being abroad. You'll learn about yourself, what types of things that you question about your own culture, the things that you like about the foreign culture, and you'll become this new hybrid person of all of the things that you've learned and that you cherish about your own culture and the things that you learn to love about a new culture. There was amazing cultural diversity on campus, and we had these amazing cultural weeks where for 1 week, one culture would bring in business leaders from their country to talk about what doing business is like. There'd be traditional foods being prepared, traditional arts and crafts and creative things happening in the middle of the common space, where when you're on a break between class, you could practice traditional Japanese calligraphy, or you could learn how to make dim sum from my Chinese classmates, or you could learn traditional Indian dance. So there were so many different things going on like that throughout the week, and it, of course, ended with this great big gala, and there were about 8 or 9 of these throughout the year. It was a really nice way to learn a lot about the way business works in different countries, and a lot of things that I was always surprised to find out about the way business life is in terms of culture of an employee in a company and what things happen after work as well. It was a tremendous amount of exposure to things that I never would have seen in my life. And I consider myself someone who's been to a lot of places and has experienced a lot of things, but there were foods I never tasted and facts I never learned and films I never saw. And there were just all of this together really was a great, fun experience to learn about my friend's heritage and my friend's culture and my friend's business culture from their country. I chose to do an internship during my personalized phase of HEC, and I got an internship through an alumni actually at a small marketing consulting firm in France. And for me, this was kind of like the pinnacle of my experience with an MBA. I had practiced really hard in my French language. I had worked really hard in my marketing classes and all of my classes, frankly. And it was me coming to this marketing consulting firm and being a consultant. And I fit in immediately to work on projects for new clients, to win new clients, and to win new business from old clients. I really got to shore down my presentation skills from the people who were working there who do presentations for their life. I learned great ways to present facts, great ways to present information, and ultimately not just for the fact of making a presentation for making presentation's sake, but for the fact that there is an end business goal. And that's something that within the classroom, it was always said that yes, there is a business goal, there's something to be done, you want to sell, you want to convince, but in theory, when you're actually practicing it in a business environment, the stakes are higher, there's actual budgets, and to put things in context like that was invaluable. And for me, it was also a great stepping stone because I wanted to change the industry that I was working in and change the functionality that I was working in. Learn more about how to work with social media and CRM, how to work more with e-commerce platforms, and how businesses can leverage all of this stuff together. So I worked with some amazing clients, and I worked with some amazing people, actually one who I'm still in touch with from my school, and really had a great time, and it really, in my opinion, helped me get the position I have today with L'Oreal. Before the MBA, I was working in the music industry in a marketing role, and now I'm working for one of the luxury brands at L'Oreal doing digital marketing and e-commerce. I started out in the music industry, and my role was a very traditional marketing sense. It was about getting people to come to see concerts and making sure that all of the national publications knew about what was going on, and kind of managing, in a way, the e-commerce platform of people buying and selling tickets. But I say this on a very basic level, and it was very siloed into what I was supposed to be doing. And as I said, I really wanted to be able to broaden myself with the MBA. And so in my new role, I'm working more on a strategic role in an e-commerce perspective and digital marketing. And it's all of the things that I learned from working in my old job that I always wanted to do, but really never had necessarily the confidence to pull off, nor the budget per se as well, among all of the things that I picked up in my internship and classes. So now I'm managing really large budget with great sales goals and really focusing on growth and how I can help my company meet our sales goals and exceed our sales goals while being quite innovative at the same time. One is that you need to be sure that you're doing an MBA, because there are so many people who I've met who have thought about the idea of going to do an MBA because they didn't know what was next. But you need to know that what you put into your MBA is what you will get out of it. You're not going to just get accepted to a school and things are going to happen for you. You have to work hard to learn. You have to work hard and network. You have to work hard and experience all of the things that are presented to you. You can't take a passive role. And when you have the motivation, the right motivation with the right end goal, it's going to be a great opportunity for you. So ultimately, you have to know what you want to get out of an MBA in order to get the most out of your MBA. So that's number one. Number two is to understand what market and what function you want to work in afterwards. So does your school that you're applying to have connections in the French luxury market, or do they have connections in the consulting industry? So you have to see which school that you're applying to, who their major recruiters are, and who comes on campus, who the students are engaged with the most. And you can ask that by talking to career people. You can talk to alumni as well. And then the third, of course, is don't be shy to get involved. Your school should have a lot of on-campus and off-campus activities to do. And you can't forget that your MBA is not just about what you learn in the classroom. It's about the social connections you make. It's about how you use the information that you get from the classroom and how you work in teams to be able to make sure that, once you leave the school, you're going to be able to use the information you've received in the best way possible. And that also ties with the fact that an MBA is not an isolated thing. You have to remember that there is a world around it, and to have some time to bring what you've learned and bridge the gap between the real world and the people who are not in your MBA at all.